Hello, everyone. I want to talk today about the Epstein list and the Epstein investigation files, and specifically why this list should not be released, why the FBI investigation files, uh, should not be released. Okay, so let's first consider what the Epstein list could possibly be. It would most certainly include his phone contacts and his email contacts. Okay, so here's the thing: I've been in business for about 35 years. In my cell phone, I have over 3,000 contacts, most of which I don't even remember. A lot of them I never even called. It might be a case where somebody gave me somebody's number and it said, "Hey, if you ever need an HVAC guy, this is the guy to call. Or if you ever need, somebody to come fix your roof, this is the guy to call." Okay, so a lot of those people in my phone, in my phone, I don't know who they are. I don't remember them. A lot of them, they don't know that I had their number. The same thing goes with a lot of the emails. All right, a lot of times the emails, I just save, I save them, never look at them again, never send out another one. So if you look at this from the perspective of an FBI investigation, I mean, what's the first thing they're going to get, right? When they're investigating any high-profile person, they're going to get the phone, they're going to take all the contacts, they're going to get their laptop, the computer, they're going to get all the email addresses, right? And now, so the FBI now has created a list, okay? So now they start going through this list, especially with the names. The first thing that, again, I'm not an FBI guy, but I would presume that the first thing they want to find out is, of all these, and I'm sure in Epstein's case, it's probably more than 10,000 people. Of all these people, do any of them have criminal convictions, right? Do any of them have criminal convictions for any sex crimes? Okay, so that's the first thing that they would try to pull out. All those people, get put into a category, right? Then the next thing they would probably look at is the frequency of these contacts. Okay, was there any communication during the time period that they're specifically investigating? Okay, so these are the things that they're trying to pull out. So here's the thing: even if there's somebody in that contact list, right, and they determine that, hey, this person over here, they never met, they're opposite sides of the country, there's no record of any communication ever, okay, they are still part of the investigation, right? They're still going to be in the FBI investigation files of Epstein, right? Even if there was never any communication, even if they've been outright dismissed as not relevant to the case, the fact that they were on that list, right, on that in his phone contacts, and they determined that this person's not relative, never met, right, never spoke to each other ever, okay, there still has to be a record in the investigation files that determination was made. Okay, so if the FBI, if Pam Bondi, was to now take the investigation files and now dump them, into the public, right? You've got all these people whose names are out there as being part of the Epstein investigation, that now have to, basically explain why they're in this investigation. And if you look at how the media operates, because remember, you got two sides here that are fighting each other. What people are going to do is they're going to say that, hey, this person over there, he was in the FBI, he was in the Epstein investigation files, and they're not going to, people aren't going to go further and say, hey, but he was dismissed as irrelevant. They're just going to stop at, this person was in those investigation files, okay? And both sides, left and right, are going to be doing this with all 10,000, maybe 20,000 names that are in there, right? So Epstein was a high-profile, high-end financier. It is extremely likely that every single Democrat, Republican, senator, House of Representatives person during the relative time period, it's absolutely certain that their name is going to be in that list, okay? You know, the Bushes are going to be in there. Biden, Trump, Kamala Harris, everybody that's been anybody during the time period that he was operating as a financier, their name is going to be in that list. Okay, and it's not going. The records may show that, hey, there was never any phone calls made, there was never any contact. But for the purpose of the investigation, again, the purpose of an investigation is to kind of figure out what's relevant, what's not relevant, right? What's right, and the point is the fact that they are making a determination that, okay, this person's not relative to this investigation, they're still in the investigation. Okay, so that's the reason why the investigation files, the so-called Epstein list, cannot be released, because everybody's just going to go crazy, and both sides are going to try and read into it things that aren't real, right? Because, like I said, every single politician, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, they're going to be in there, right? Because as a financier, right? His business was to basically try to get everybody that has any money, right? Try to get their phone number and try to contact them and try to solicit them for business, right? So that's why the Epstein files, the Epstein investigation, cannot just be released. Okay. So and here's the thing. This is Pam Bondi's fault. Like, what I'm explaining, she should have explained. Okay. I mean, you don't need to be an FBI investigator to look at the situation and say, hey, this is where it's going to end up, right? The guy has a phone. He's probably got 10,000 plus contacts. All those people in there have to be investigated, even if it's to dismiss them as not relative. I mean, that's all she had to explain. Okay. The problem with her is that she's coming at this from the perspective of a lawyer, of an attorney, right? She's not, she's not looking at this politically. Okay, even though attorney generals are political people, she's really not a political person, or politically savvy person. Let's put it that way. She's not a politically savvy person. She should have been able to look ahead and figure out the best way to tell everyone that, hey, I can't release this information simply because there's just too much information, and it's impossible to pull out what's relative from what's not relative, right? It's impossible to separate the two. Okay, so that's what she should have explained, but she didn't, and that's why you got this. Especially the Democrats right now, they're making a big deal at all. Trump is hiding the Epstein list because he's on it. Of course he's on it. Of course Epstein had Trump's number, right? He was on the short list of billionaires, right? Epstein had Trump's number. He's got Warren Buffett's number. He's got every billionaire's number, right? He's got their number, 100% guaranteed. He's got every politician. He's got, anybody that's anybody, he had their number, okay? So anyway, drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I will talk to you soon.